That's not good.
No, it's not good.
Das ist exakt Radar. What is that thing that looks like a teapot? What are those two little things up?
Today we are working on the Jeep. And when I say we, I mean I've got my little helper. And we are going to start getting this thing ready to roll. So there's a few things going on that are immediately obvious that need to be fixed. One is the transmission line cooler, or the transmission cooler lines are leaking like crazy up by the radiator, so we're gonna try and fix that. This coolant bottle is destroyed. The cap doesn't stay on. The threads are messed up. I don't know. We're gonna go ahead and replace that with a new cap and new reservoir. We got a new thermostat because I think the thermostat is sticking open or been removed by some other person. So we're gonna take care of the thermostat. We're gonna replace the upper radiator hose, and we also have all 4 shocks. I don't know if we're gonna get that far. We've been out in the garage this morning. We just replaced all the spark plugs on the minivan. Check out that video, should be posting if not posted. Other things we've got coming but not here yet is the valve cover gasket we're going to be doing. Not today. We got new headlamps because these things are, you know, like that. They're just kind of sitting in there for now. And yeah, I guess that's going to be our first plan of attack. So let's get her done. Unfortunately, I uploaded this video to YouTube and received a counter-strike notice due to the radio playing in the background, as dumb as that is. So I had to redo the video a little bit with no music in the background. I apologize, but we do have some audio.
What is the thing with the cap? What are those two little things up there?
Those are for the brake fluid caps.
What is that little thing that looks like a
Uh-oh,
teapot?
that just broke.
That's not good.
No, it's not good.
Das ist exakt Radar.
Alright, we'll see if any of that gets struck down again. We should be good. So I bought a new reservoir. This is like a $40 reservoir linked down in the description below. For $40, the plastic seems really strong. I don't have any qualms on that. It didn't really fit. As you can see, I had to drill the holes a little bit larger for the bolts. But other than that, it fit great. Seems to be pretty decent quality and not bad for the price. The tab on the right towards the firewall didn't quite sit against the metal of the Jeep. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if that's different than the old one or if it's just been modified previously. But so this is a level sensor. I don't have that technology to utilize this on my Jeep. That came either later or in different models. But I couldn't find a cap to cap that hole, so I bought the whole entire sensor. Alright, so we put our hose on, put the cap on, now we're going to fill up the reservoir. This is not the correct coolant, but at 27 years old, I'm not too worried about it. It's going to work out for now. This Jeep isn't going to be getting a lot of miles on it. It's just going to be my play toy. Alright, so I just cut the fan shroud off just to give me room for my hands at the thermostat. I'm not recommending you do that. That's just what I did. Again, I'm not a mechanic. In fact, I'm pretty stupid, so don't follow my lead. That being said, I removed this upper radiator hose that we're going to be replacing anyway, and now we're getting rid of the heater core hose on the thermostat body. I don't know why everybody likes to drill holes in these, but I went ahead and followed suit to see. I don't know what you want to call it, maybe a burper hose or a bypass hole, burper hole or bypass hole. If you do that, just make sure when you put it in, like right here, you get that hole at the very top of the housing so that it's not, so that it can let air out. Okay, so that was a pain in the butt. What we got is we got the coolant reservoir in. I put this flow sensor in, not flow. This is a fill sensor. It'll tell you if you're low if you have that accessory on your dash. I don't even have the hookup for it electronically, but I couldn't find a cap, and this is like 12 bucks, so I just bought it to use as a cap essentially. No biggie. But the new coolant reservoir's in. It doesn't line up quite perfect. We ended up drilling some holes for the bolts, and then that one isn't even coming close to going all the way down. So this reservoir was pretty cheap. It was like 40 bucks, but it does not line up out of the box. So there's that. Then we came over here to replace the thermostat in the housing. We did drill a 1/16 inch hole in the thermostat as a air burper or pressure relief or bypass system, whatever you want to call it. Now we're going to replace the hose. We bought a brand new hose for it, which is right here. And I think we're going to end up running to O'Reilly's and buying some hose and replacing this and this as well, because these are pretty they're pretty torn up, and like you can see, this one's been over tightened and bubbling, and yeah, might as well just replace them, keep things clean and nice. So getting this in here, this bottom bolt down here was a pain in the butt. So it was a pain in the butt to get the bolt in. Pulling it back out wasn't horrible, but putting the bolt in was kind of a pain in the butt because you couldn't get your fingers in there. There's too much pressure and it just wasn't fun. So if you're going to do it, I'd recommend pulling the belt off, which I found the tensioner's down there, and I loosened it all the way, and this thing is solid. It ain't moving. I'm guessing I also have to undo this, which I didn't because I was just frustrated at that point. So I just did it with the belt tight, but if you want to, just loosen the belt, pull that belt off. I think it would be a little bit easier. So we're making progress. I'm going to stick this in here. But I do know a 19mm socket fit. That wire, I told you guys not to let me forget, which is right here. So on these heater hoses, I was able to find the printed numbers. The upper one, which is on the driver's side in the firewall, is a 16mm hose. The bottom one is a 15mm hose. The closest my local store had was a 15.9mm hose, so that's what we're going to go with. Hopefully it fits. We're going to find out right now. So I bought 7 feet of this. Let's see if it'll even go on first before I get all excited. Wiggle this all the way down, as much so as we can. That about enough. Oh, there it goes. Woo! Pain. We had to kind of shredded this thing to get it off, but it finally came off. There we go. This one comes right out. Whew. Yep. All right. Whew. For the first cut, just to make sure. Here's how I've already put both those clamps back there, and if you can see, they're kind of keltered. That just makes it easier to get to next time, assuming there's going to be a next time. If I assume there'll be a next time, I should theoretically never need it. If I don't assume there's a next time, I'll be pissed at myself for not assuming that there would be a next time. Okay, so this, I always try to strategize where I want my worm gears to go. You're going to end up with a tail. You don't want that to slice your finger off, but you also always want to be able to get to the head. So if you ever put it in like that, you're kind of screwed. Like that, you can get to next time. That may be a wall. So I'm going to put it in like this because I want the head to be up. Okay, so the goal of what we just did, which was essentially we replaced the heater core hoses, the coolant reservoir because that was broken, the upper radiator hose, and the thermostat housing, the thermostat, and the temperature sensor. So the goal is to be able to take this on the road and not worry too much about it breaking down for something I could have prevented. The heater hoses were not horrible, they were just old. They had the Mopar numbers and they were very old, so I'm guessing original. I'm guessing a lot of this stuff was original. I don't think it was taken care of at the dealer because there's no Carfax history. Zero Carfax history other than registrations and emissions. So either one, some previous guy from New York, so this is another reason that I'm curious. So some guy from New York owned this, and either one, he went to the dealer to buy all of his parts, which is fantastic because everything in here says Mopar almost. Or somehow this Jeep has made 250,000 miles, 27 years on almost everything bone stock from the factory. As much as everything is solidified together, like those hoses, I couldn't get them off for the life of me. I think it might actually be stock original 27-year-old equipment, which means I want to replace as much as I can, as much of the failure points as I can before I'm stuck somewhere and regret not doing it ahead of time. So getting this stuff done is great. I'm still going to be looking for an aftermarket radiator. I want a dual row if I can find one to put in here. And at that point, we'll replace the lower hose and whatever else we got going on for the cooling system. And the cooling system should be solid, and we'll move on from there. So right now we're going to go ahead and fill up the coolant because I don't have a radiator yet, and I don't want to forget that there's no coolant in the system. So we're going to do that and then move on. Alright, so for my transmission leak, I can see it coming off that fitting over there. I don't know if you can see it right there, that fitting right up here. And this tray is absolutely disgusting. So I don't think we need this tray. And it looks like it's just held in by some of these stupid ass plastic clips anyway. I figure if it's being held in by these plastic clips, we don't need it. So let's get rid of it. And I've already had metal. So that's just about out of my life now. Alright, so now you can probably see the transmission drip. There it is, see? Bright red. So, trying to get over to there. Now it looks like there's lower coolant hoses in the way, which we're probably going to replace someday as well, but I wasn't planning on it right now. So, let me just see if I can reach up in there with a crescent. Good morning. We bought something. So, this Jeep project is going to be a long time to build. I only have so much money and so much time to put into it, but we are going to be actively working on it as much as I can. And I bought something I wasn't intending to buy yet. I was going to wait till this thing was about roadworthy, which won't be long, I guess, hopefully. But I found something to buy and I bought it. So yeah, so it's going to be a little more cramped in here now. We got the red van, the red Jeep, the red 350Z. I don't even like red, guys. I don't know how I keep getting stuck with the red. And then the blue F250. You gotta not even want to be able to see him in here, huh? So I got some back seats, a whole set. The only thing missing is the headrests. Hopefully the hardware's here. We're gonna try and install them right now. We got this. This also. So look. Okay, that's the other one. But I think I'm making this up as I go. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So it looks like this is going to bolt in here. So whoever took the old seats out left the hardware. That's nice of them. This one does not have something to bolt to, but this one has two. So I'm going to make the assumption that this one is going to sit. Or no, because there's a rod right here. So I bet that rod folds into there. So how do you get these in? I wonder if I have to put them in together. Interesting. Because you're supposed to put, this clearly lines up with this hole here. So somehow we get it in here. Okay, there it goes. Okay, that was easy enough. This one's missing, so I'm glad he included some hardware. And these look like studs that have broken off. Oh, shoot. Well, that could cause an issue. Let's get the bolts in the can, then we'll figure it out from there. Okay. All right, guys, so As this vehicle progresses, as the build progresses, I'm going to do it in my spare time, which means it's going to be 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, here 20, there 20, here 5 hours, and whatnot, as I have time. So I'm going to get home from work. If I have a little 5-minute project like repairing a vacuum hose, I'll jump on that, replacing the headlights, 2-minute project, take care of that, and so forth. So intros and exits might be interesting because I don't know what I'm doing at all times. So be patient. The build's coming. Stay tuned. I'm going to try and keep posting videos as we go through. But as we get through the cheap stuff and get to the more expensive stuff, obviously things are going to take a little bit longer because I have to, save up money. So speaking of money, if you could help me out, check out the Amazon links, buy your stuff through there. That helps, doesn't cost you anything extra, and I make a small commission. Also, there's a PayPal donation link in the video description of every video and the pinned comment. Check that out, help me out, and we'll get this thing built. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned. There's always more coming.